The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.
What time is it?
Ladies and gentlemen, the Undisputed Era has arrived.
You have the 25 days of Christmas. Impact's going to have the 25 days of releases.
I send it you to deletion! Yeah!
It's hashtag Alpha versus Omega.
Let's just say hashtag aroused.
No, you're going to step in that ring, and you're going to be looking at me eye to eye, and you're going to realize you ain't got a chance.
Thank God we don't have to talk about it anymore, because she got that cancer out of there.
Sean stole my answer. I'm just glad we don't have to talk about this anymore.
And that's not an insult, that is just a fact of life.
Dave Meltzer. He said that we could not draw 10,000 people. As some of you may know, I took him up on his gentleman dollar bet, and in 29 minutes, we sold 10,451 tickets. And then we added a convention to it that sold over 5,000 tickets. And then we put it on free TV for a channel that gets 77 million viewers. It is plain and simple. WWE is wonderful, but they do not own pro wrestling. All of us.
Ladies and gentlemen, wrestling to the mat.
And your hosts, Gary Vaughan, Sean Garmer, and Paul Vieser.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Wrestling to the Max episode 298. And of course, I am your host, Gary Vaughan, and along with me, the co-host of the mostest, Mr. Sean Garmer.
What's up, everybody?
And guys and gals, we want to make sure that you do know we are brought to you by W2M Network. That's right. That's the place where you go find all your great content. W2M Network, of course, is one of the best places to find anything when it comes to the world of wrestling. Of course, you can also find all the great content when it comes to, let's just say sports in general, and of course, video games, entertainment, and so there's just everything under the sun, guys. So we want to make sure that's why we are there for you and making sure you know all about it. Of course, hey, make sure you also go and check our friends over at 411mania.com and lastwordonprowrestling.com. They are good friends of ours. Make sure you check them out. Sean, you got to tell them about the site that the W2M Network's on. Make sure, because it's been a while. We've missed a few weeks here. Make sure that people remember what site they can go to find this podcast and all of our other great friends.
Yeah, go to W2Mnet.com. You'll get, it's what's on the network, but in case you don't subscribe there, it's a good thing to go to the site because you can read more about all the podcasters. You get to know them a little bit more, and maybe you're intrigued to listen to their shows. And, we do have written stuff, game reviews and other things here and there. Might have some football written things there. The top 25 is about to come back because college football is right around the corner here.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah.
Oh, I'm excited, man. I'm really, really excited about all that. And, and that's why
I don't know about
Sean
excited
today.
too much about the Cowboys, but that's another story.
Well, that's not college, but, I don't know with Cowboys. You never know. And I know we're both Cowboy fans, and But of course, anyone listening that's not, hey, you guys can hate on us all you want and say what you want, and that's okay. Well, hey, we'll take it. But we have the right to be optimistic, just like all you other fans in the NFL. So, of course, week 1 is when everybody's going to the Super Bowl. Just know that. So, but of course, college football, once again, it's a blast. I love college football too, and all that great stuff. And
everybody's
I wanted Sean
getting pumped for that LSU Miami game over here.
Oh, I bet they are so stoked, and of course, that game is going to be up front and where I'm at. So, excited about that. But like I said, I wanted Sean to kind of mention the site himself, because Sean really runs that thing and really gets it going. He's the engine, the motor of it, and so that's why I'm so excited to have him actually speak about it. And you're going to hear me say W2M Network, because I want you to remember W2M Net. I don't want you to forget that. I want you to remember that, because, of course, once again, the site is a lot of fun, great content to go check out, and, of course, all the podcasts. And, hey, we want to also make sure we throw this your way. If you're a big fan of any of the wrestling promotions that we kind of talk about here or there, or maybe some of the ones that we don't talk enough about, make sure you go ahead and send us some content when it comes to maybe, hey, I want to see more of this, or hey, let us know. I want to hear more of that. We want to know what you guys like. If you do like to hear more Ring of Honor talk, hey, shoot us, a message and let us know. But not only that, we also have a section on that website that you can go and apply, and you can maybe even have your own podcast on the W2M network and get your chance to, hey, talk about whatever promotion you like the most. Maybe you're a big fan of, I don't know, maybe you just love the DMWA so much you want to talk about everything that Billy Corrigan is bringing out for that promotion, talk about Nick Aldis all day long. Well, hey, let us know. We want to hear. Maybe you're an Impact fan. You want to give us all the lowdown on what's going on over there.
You know what? God bless you if you want to talk about Nick Aldis all day long.
I'm just throwing it out there, bro, because you never know who wants to. But I just want to make sure that people do know that this is a place that we are open and willing to hear your voice. But not only that, hey, if you have something great to bring and you want to join up with us, we'd like to see what you have. And of course, if you're ready to do it, we'll maybe get things going for you. So, but guys, here we are once again. I'm so excited about talking some more wrestling this week, and there's been so much, Sean, that has gone on. We didn't get a SummerSlam review or anything like that going in. We're not going to do that now because that's way old. But there's a couple of things that I want to throw your way, Sean, and I want to kind of see what you think about it, because there are some things that really bother me as we sit here post SummerSlam, some of the new storylines that they've got going, and I'm going to throw one your way, and I'm not sure how much you really paid attention to it or how much you really even care. But we have this new Women's Revolution pay-per-view, which is going to be called Evolution. Yep. But I still call it Revolution because that's what they're focusing on, the revolution.
I know, it's like you got Revolution, Evolution.
Uh-huh. It's ridiculous, but they're calling it Evolution. And We'll just go with it, whatever. But, they're really promoting it out the wazoo, and they let every person on the roster pretty much tell everyone how excited they were about it. And now it's sneaking into storylines. And so, of course, the regular matches that the women have are there. You're, of course, expecting that. But now you're even having the Bellas come in and trying to jump in on the action. And I don't know about you, but it's kind of turning my stomach, and it's really affecting my excitement for Evolution. And I know people are not going to want to hear that. They're not going to want to hear me bash the Bellas or whatever, or maybe they do. But to me, it just seems so out of place. And Sean, I get it. Yes, they have been a part of the WB for a long time. It would just, to me, it would be like the $1 Million Man coming back and saying, hey, SummerSlam, you should really like it. And, hey, I'm here. I'm going to give you guys the leg up because I'm here. It's like, dude, you're old news. You don't need to be here. We've got new guys.
Well, hold on. We got to remember that this is about also showing how and who, not just how, but who has helped evolve WWE Women's Wrestling to where it is now. So, you're going to have Trish in a match. You're going to have the Bellas in a match. The Bellas are in a tag match with Ronda Rousey at the Australia show. So you kind of got to have them show up as well. They're big parts of why women's wrestling is what it is right now, especially with their expansion into Total Divas and all that. And we can't, even though that doesn't have to do with wrestling, it is a way for the women to evolve and be on TV and have their characters know more. And not all of them get to be on it, but you know what I mean. Like, you know, the Miz and Maurice show is one of the best things out there, and Maurice being on Total Divas first helped people get to know more about her and know more about Miz and everything too. So, you know, that's another way for them to evolve. Maybe not from, oh my God, they kicked butt in the ring all the time, but from another perspective, you know.
You bring a good point up. It's just, I just don't like the fact that they kind of spell it out as these two brought the evolution. And they brought the revolution. They brought every single thing that is why we are where we're at right now in women's wrestling.
Well, you know, if Stephanie could put herself there, she would be the one that would be doing all that. So
exactly, and I understand that too. I just kind of feel like that they need to not just make them one of the centerpieces. I think Trish needs to be more in that centerpiece. Heck, I think you've got a lot of ladies out there that probably could be put in here and really kind of showcase. So that was my only thing. I just kind of really bummed me out, especially when they had her celebrating with Ronda Rousey and all that. I'm like, come on, this is just ridiculous.
I think they're building up to probably WrestleMania, like Ronda against Nikki or something.
No, that's going to be Evolution. That's actually what they're talking about.
Like maybe past, but that's also what I don't understand why they're having them tag in the Australia show either. But still, like, that's the point, is they're trying, this is why they're getting promoted so big, is so that, there's a reason why Ronda should want to beat them, or it's like a stepping stone to, I beat one of the best that came before me. Now I really am, one of the best out there today, or whatever in wrestling. So,
yeah, I guess so, and I can understand that too. Once again, it feels like something that's kind of forced upon me, and I understand there is history. And that's something, but it's the whole reason.
Hold on, we're talking about WWE, Gary. What is not forced upon you in WWE? I mean,
but they can at least mask it. I mean, they can at least camouflage it.
If you want to talk about women being forced upon, look at Becky. They're forcing this heel turn on us.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Yeah, you know what? And thank you so much for bringing that up. That's the next thing I wanted to bring up for sure, because I think this is something that just totally is out of whack. To me, it doesn't make any sense. I feel like Charlotte is a great heel. She's proved it in the past. I understand, yes, fans are, kind of wanting to see her in as a babyface at times, but I think still fans will love her just as much in a heel role, where right now Becky Lynch is the perfect babyface because she's the underdog. She is what we've seen in the past, like I guess you could allude to maybe a Daniel Bryan or someone else in that form who has really fought to get to this point and still has not accomplished it. And that's what people are just dying to see happen. They want Becky Lynch back and getting a title and accomplishing the goals.
How can you hate her though? She has like the best personality. She makes stupid puns. I mean, like, she fights. She wants to fight. Like, it's like, I don't know how you can hate that, and then you're trying to turn it around. I feel like WWE just had this idea of like, okay, well, people don't care that much about Becky Lynch. She hasn't been doing anything like that's like out of this world, and so let's just turn her. Let's just turn her to try to do something with her to give us more ideas. And they don't think about, oh crap, well, what's happened with Roman, let's just make that happen. Like, let's just go against what they want, and they'll eventually do what we want.
Yeah, which really has not worked out in their favor yet.
Well, it works with Roman selling merchandise, because apparently he's the -- merch seller now. But
well, of course, when you have, and I've heard many other podcasters say this, so this is nothing new, nothing breaking news. But, when you have 65 items and then Dolph Ziggler has 3, you're going to sell the most merchandise.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just it. Yeah.
You give people more variety of your thing, and you have a cool logo or cool slogan, people are going to go after that.
And let's be honest, the demographic that he is going to be out there for, which is a lot of kids, it's John Cena all over again, just the same comparison. He's going to sell lots of stuff, but the kids are going to like him, where the guys that are older not going to be big fans, and they're not the ones buying all this stuff up. It's usually the parents at Target or wherever they're at buying up these toys. It's WBShop.com in general. So I think it's a point, and it's something that I think a lot of people have expressed. But I think at the end of the day, WB is going to do their thing. Becky is in a situation right now where they're trying to get her changed up a little bit to see if they can, make her something new. But I think that they're really, kind of missing out on the great opportunity here, because I think Charlotte's just such a great heel. I don't know. And I think people are not going to want to see Becky Lynch as this heel. I think, in fact, people are kind of already rejecting it. You've seen, I think, this past SmackDown, in fact, they're cheering her still. They still love Becky Lynch. And it's going to be hard for them to hate her. And it's going to take away from the storyline that could be great.
She had a terrific promo on SmackDown, too.
Exactly. So, I think we got to keep following this along, but at the same point, it just makes me concerned. It really does, and I think Becky Lynch and Charlotte are going to have great matches. I don't fear that at all. I think it's going to be awesome. The emotion's right there where it needs to be. I think both of them have done a great job. It's just I think the role should be flipped. But just me.
Definitely the roles need to be flipped. I mean, a Flair as a heel, that's like a no-brainer, right? It's just, this is WWE's thing right now. It's like, we want to make polarizing characters. We want this reaction. Like, I guess they feel like it makes people tune in, and I don't know that that's the case or not. Or maybe they can change her later, and they go, "Oh, see, we gave you what you wanted. You just had to wait." And it's like, okay. Or they're hoping by the time that, they get to the, "Oh, well, we might turn her now. Oh, well, now they're finally booing her." And it's like, man, just go with the crowd sometimes. They also know what's good. I know that there's an old adage of people don't know what they want, a lot of times. Or I know Vince goes by that adage of, I know what they want better than they do. And that's fine in certain circumstances. Like, there's decisions that you have to make from a marketing perspective that obviously the fans can't make for you. But when it comes to cheering who they want and booing who they want, they let you know pretty vocally. And it's not that hard to go with the flow there. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It gets people talking about it, right? I guess that's another thing, too. It's like the talk radio aspect of, we're talking about it because it's controversial. And,
Well, and Eric Bischoff, has plenty of times said controversy creates cash or something to that form. I can't quote him on it, but it's basically that.
Right. That's pretty much it.
So, I mean, it's one of those where, I mean, it's a win-win situation for them, not a lose-win, because basically they get what they want and they get it what they want, because they do what they feel like is best, and then we're talking about them because they are doing that, and it's making us pissed off. So, but yeah, I mean, it's just one of the situations that I kind of feel kind of odd about. And the one thing I will bring up lastly, at least from my point of view here, is this whole situation with Braun Strowman. Same kind of thing, where it looks like he's in that heel perspective, even though we know he's not. I mean, my God, they're not going to turn him heel, not at least right now. But it's just so funny that they're willing to do anything they can do to make Roman Reigns still look like, hey, he's an awesome champion. But wait a minute, we got to bring the Shield in, even though they haven't been, around forever. Let's bring the Shield back to protect Roman from Braun. Just the wrong message to send if you got a guy that's supposed to be a fighting champ. He needs his buddies to beat him, Braun Strowman, down. I just kind of feel like, man, I don't remember when Austin was fighting some of the bigger guys, Big Show and people like that. He had to call up some guys to come help him. I don't remember Ken Shamrock running down to save the day.
That was a different era, though.
I know, but it's still, I kind of feel like, it should at least be somewhere where this guy doesn't, because even John Cena, I don't remember John Cena having a whole faction protecting him from some of the bigger guys. Big Show, I just mentioned him again.
Yeah, I think it's different, though, in that all those guys you mentioned, except for Roman, didn't come up in a faction. Like, Roman came up, with them. So it's just a cheap excuse to have the Shield around, and we don't really have a thing. Like, we have this tag match we got to promote at the Australia show as well, so we kind of got to have them be together right now, and yeah, it's kind of silly, but like, I get it. At least they've been consistent, right, with the Roman thing. They're gonna put everybody in his way to make Roman look better, and that's just another case of it. Well, not everybody liked him throwing stuff around and whatever and being like, oh, come get these hands and all that. But people were cheering that. People were excited for that. And, now he's just this brooding guy. And, that's not that entertaining to me. I don't know if the kids are going to boo it, I guess, because they're told to. But, yeah, it just bothers me, I guess. Like, they didn't have anybody else, I guess they feel like, that was going to move the needle against Roman, that people were going to dislike a lot. So let's just turn him and see what happens. He's a big dude, so people are going to hate him or something.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. It's one of those where, once again, we sit here and we're scratching our heads, and it also puts Braun in a weird, awkward situation, having to team up with two guys that have been heels, and it's just, it works in a weird way because people love Braun Strowman, but now they either love him more because he's teaming with some guys that are heels, and they kind of like those heels, like Drew McIntyre. I don't believe that people completely hate. I think they really like him too, and Dolph Ziggler's got his sect of fans. And all the Roman haters are just going to be all over this. And then all the Roman fans are going to be like, well, look, Braun's not the good guy. Our guy is the good guy. So it kind of brings the yin and yang to an extent, but at the same point, I think it's a little confusing. And to me, So once again, we're still early in all these storylines. Everything we're talking about still a little early. We're not heading right into the Hell in a Cell just yet. We still got a minute to get there. So I these are a few things and basic observations I wanted to bring up following what we saw at SummerSlam and of course these past 2 weeks. So but yeah, that's pretty much it on that. Besides that, I mean, Sean, are you ready to talk some of the wrestling news we had this past week?
Yeah, it's kind of funny that we talk about Braun and Roman, because when you look at the PWI 500, Braun is ahead of Roman. Let's jump into that, man. So let's go ahead and get into this whole top 10 that we have. We're not going to talk all 500. We would die. So, let's go ahead and start this thing off backwards. Why not? Because I think, if you haven't paid attention to the top 10, this would be kind of fun. The Miz gets this 10 spot, and I don't think that's bad to me. I think Miz has definitely made his presence known. The Daniel Bryan feud that he's had over this past year. I know he's had a little longer, but it's been just fun. And I think he's done a great job, been very vocal. We got number 9, Tetsuya Naito, my guy. I think he should be higher, but okay. We got 8, Cody, which, wow, I mean, this guy has had a great year as well, has done a lot of things. Roman Reigns is at 7, and this is not a shock. I mean, he's done some great things. From my understanding, of course, he has just been somebody that they've really kept inclined to really make sure he stays up there because of everything he accomplishes. But he's definitely not as high, like you said, Sean, because Braun Strowman is above him at 6, which, no doubt he had the Money in the Bank briefcase a part of this while he's up here. Seth Rollins at 5 has been just one of the hottest superstars that Raw has to offer. I mean, just excellent year, doing lots of great things, so really happy for him. Brock Lesnar comes in at 4, which, Brock doesn't have any matches, but when he does, I mean, my God, he wins most of them. We got to remember that PWI also kayfabes a lot, so Brock Lesnar having the Universal title for however long he had it, and even though he didn't do anything, for the most part, he kept retaining, which is important to this list as well. And that keeps him up there.
Definitely. And the top 3 we have here speak to just what you said, Sean. And we'll start with I can't say it. Okada. I can't say his first name.
Kazuchika Okada.
Kazuchika. See, okay, thank you. He's at 3. And, of course, wasn't it just last year he was 1? So it's a little bit of a drop. 2, it goes to AJ Styles, which not a shocker. But you may...
I think, he's the longest SmackDown champion ever now. Right. He beat the JBL record.
Wow. So that slipped past me. That's so awesome for him. And I mean, just been to me one of the biggest faces that WWE has right now. I'm just doing so
He's
great.
on the freaking video game cover. I mean,
yeah.
Who would have thought that? Right? Like,
not in a million years.
AJ freaking Styles is on a WWE video game.
And not only that, Sean, at SummerSlam, AJ Styles versus Samoa Joe.
Yeah. I mean, that's
come on.
Amazing.
That's TNA. I mean, that's not supposed to be WWE. So that's wild. And at number 1, Kenny Omega. Big shocker? Not really.
He beat Okada for the title, so it makes sense.
Yeah, exactly. He beat Okada. But, I mean, it's one of those where, I mean, you like you said, they kayfabe it, and you got that. But he's just been the talk of the wrestling world. It just never ends. He has these matches. Meltzer breaks his own rating system for him. It's just been amazing to see what kind of year he's had.
Even outside of wrestling, he has the gaming thing with Xavier Woods, and he goes to fighting game tournaments and is on that, and he gets talked about on the major networks sometimes as well, on the ESPNs and all that. So this dude has been on the tip of the tongue.
Yeah, exactly. And it's been so really one of those fun things to do when it comes to rearranging these lists. Everybody does it. I mean, everybody looks at this list and they rearrange it and say, no, this one or that one. Is there any glaring spots here to you, Sean, that you may change around, something that you would like to kind of see differently here?
No, I feel like the ones that dropped, it makes sense. Nakamura didn't win the U.S. title until very recently. Kevin Owens has kind of been just, whatnot. Bobby Roode also went down, so did Samoa Joe. So Nakamura, obviously, he won the Royal Rumble, and then he did nothing. So that's just kind of how it goes with these lists, and especially because they don't. It's not based on work rate or whatever. It's based on how long you hold titles, retains, and there is match quality in there, but it takes a lesser note than say some other people's lists do. So
yeah,
like the one you see for the Meltzer awards at the end of the year, that'll look a lot different. It might look the same because it's a lot of the same wrestlers having great matches, but it'll be different for different reasons than say this will.
Yeah, exactly. And I think, Brock Lesnar, as, much of a force as he is, match quality is not going to be up there for him. He's just not going to be there. So
and he doesn't care about that, and that's not what he's there for.
Yeah.
And...
Exactly, yeah. But, if you're going by the quality of matches, he's nowhere close to that top. And I don't blame him for saying that, but here we are, like you said, Sean. It's about kayfabe. It's about just what he is about. And there you go. So I think they're pretty spot on. I think they've got this list pretty close to right. I mean, yes, you can interchange, I think, anyone below maybe 5 or 6. You could change out a lot of people, But anyway, it's one of those things we like to talk about, bring it up, make sure people know what's going on. And you can go check out that PWI magazine. Make sure you go and see who your favorite wrestler and where he's at, and see those other hundreds on there that I don't even come close to looking at, because I don't know if I really care who is below maybe 100 because usually it's just a bunch of random people, and I don't think it really even comes across as something that I think a lot of people pay attention to, but I'm sure it's fun. It's just me and my personal opinion. I'm like, man, every year 500. Why? I mean, does anybody really pay attention?
I mean, it's cool to be on that list, right? For the wrestlers, it's a great honor to be one of the 500 recognized wrestlers by that magazine. I mean, the hardest of the hardcore are the ones that really care about that stuff. But again, it's just like most magazines nowadays, that the further relevance of them is just keeps going down and down. But that's one of those things. It's like, I don't know if there's an equivalent, like being on Rolling Stone still is kind of a big thing, or you know, there's a few things there, like being on the cover of Time is still a big deal. Like, you know, there's some that are gonna last, and I think the PWI, at least for this kind of thing, that when they do their awards and when they do this, it still matters to some people, you know.
Yeah, I'm sure. You know, I'm just one of those people who, you know, doesn't really get excited about lists a lot of times. So it's hard for me to really jump into, oh man, I got to read all these, you know, even like fantasy football. Love fantasy football, but once I get past maybe the top 75 players, I'm kind of done. Kind of done. Even maybe top 50, I'm kind of done. So, sorry.
Well, if you're setting your lineup based on whoever the 50th person is that you're looking at, you got problems as who you drafted anyway. So, yeah.
True. Very, very true. You make a great point, Sean. But anyway. Well, you know what? Let's jump into some other news that I think people are going to be interested in, and that is Neville is no longer contracted with WB. That's right. His contract is run out, and he can do whatever he pleases now. It's up to him where he goes, what he does. Lots of speculation on it. A lot of people are really hoping he shows up at All In. Heck, I'm one of those people. I'd love to see him appear.
What a moment would that be if he shows up at All In?
I don't care if it's the over budget battle royal thing, or if it's just a match against some random super awesome superstar. You know, I always want to see Neville somewhere. So it would be really great to see him at All In. But nonetheless, he is now a free guy, Sean. What do you think about this? I mean, this is something that, you know, has been kind of quite different from a lot of the guys, or maybe even gals, that have left WB on bad terms or just been fired. They usually speak up. They usually make a little bit of rumbling. Neville has been so quiet. I mean, not saying a word, just keeping to himself, not basically not getting in the limelight at all, and allowing this thing to run out. Do you think it was a smart decision, good decision? What do you think about it?
Well, I remember there were rumors for a long time that he was trying to get back in the WWE. Remember that kept going flip and flopping, and this week he's trying to get back in. Oh, this week he's not. Oh, he's done. He's just waiting the contract out now. Like, they kept changing all the time. So I mean, who knows if that was really going on, or it's just people trying to make news, because that happens too. And then Neville comes. That seems to be in his nature of just like, why am I going to go out there and make a big fuss and talk and say things that damage my reputation? And if I ever needed to go back to WWE, I can't, because I just said a bunch of crap that I can't. You know, yeah. I'll wind up like Austin Aries, where I'm not going to be welcome back there because, you know, I pissed off the wrong person. So I think he's being smart. It's like Cody. You don't hear Cody just absolutely badmouth WWE either. Right, so there's no need. I think he obviously is hurt by what they decided to do, and that made him want to walk out and everything, and that's fine. Now he gets to go show that who he is and what made people love him before he went to WWE and while he was in WWE, and that's what's cool. Is, you know, whether he makes spots in Dragon Gate to kind of appease those fans again, or whether he goes to New Japan, or you know, Impact could use him as well as one of the X Division guys. I don't know that he would get past that in Impact. That's the problem. So, you know, you might be involved in a storyline where you run over a kid or something. You just gotta be careful about that. I mean, he could go to ROH too. I mean, they could use it there, or he could possibly actually, you know, get somewhere. But that's the thing, though, is it's up to him what he wants to do. Maybe he just does indies for a while and doesn't sign anywhere.
And that might be what he does, because he's probably a little bit sketchy on signing a new contract with anyone. And he's probably not wanting to do that just yet. If he does, that means that he has already found the right situation. He's already discussed it, kind of made some talks happen. But I think he's going to end up in a good situation no matter what he does, because this guy has already commanded money just by being a big controversial figure, right? By being a guy that left WWE, did it on his terms. They couldn't change his mind. That's already going to get him in the door, and pretty much any place he wants to go. And I think that's going to be exciting for his fans, but not only that, exciting for his wallet, because we know there is money to be made outside of WWE, and it may not be, quite the paycheck, but you can make quite a bit of money and make a nice living for yourself. And if he makes a big enough splash, there's no telling what his future is going to be. So I'm excited about whatever he does decide to do. I don't think he can really make too many bad decisions.
No, certainly not. I mean, and he's a smart dude, so yeah. I mean, if he shows up at All In and makes a buzz, there'll be people want to take him anywhere. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. And he's going to be a guy that I think is going to make himself into something new. I think he's going to kind of definitely shed that whole gimmick of King of the Cruiserweights, and he's going to bring himself into this new light. Maybe even kind of go back to what he was at some point. Maybe kind of showcasing Pac, and basically bringing that whole thing back to where it was. So, and
then plus he gets to carry that former WWE guy name, so he automatically gets to bump up his rate.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, so he's not going to be hurting. Trust me, people. He's going to be in a good situation. Let's talk about SummerSlam. They just revealed on Monday Night Raw this past week that SummerSlam in 2019 will be none other than Toronto. Yeah, that same place they were in on Monday night. They're going to have it again this year in Toronto. They had it last year, of course, this past year in New York. So this year is going to be even out of the country. So that's exciting, and I think it's great for Toronto, and I'm sure the fans there are super excited. That means they'll also get NXT TakeOver. They'll get Raw and SmackDown. So they're going to have a great weekend of it. This is going to be a big deal for Toronto.
Yeah, it's, the crowd up there is a little different, and that they kind of go more towards, the WrestleMania crowds, and sometimes when you go to those Philly and New York crowds where they may not go with everything that WWE is expecting, which makes it fun. And just there's a great atmosphere there in Toronto. Every time there's a show, they're hooked in. They're ready to watch it. They're ready to see it. And that's what you want when you go to these big events. You want crowds that are into what's happening.
Exactly. And, when you got a situation that means, hey, this is basically up there in the second biggest pay-per-view, you want to make sure you're making a splash, and that's exactly what they're doing. Definitely a crowd that can really get the place rocking, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they do up there, because I think they'll throw some wrinkles in, kind of pay homage to some of the things that Canada has, and maybe even bring some stars that you wouldn't normally see into the equation at SummerSlam because of that reason. So it's going to be fun. I always like it when they have it special places. I think, LA and New York, they tend to have big shows, but they kind of toe the line. I think when they have it in places like Toronto, they kind of add a new flair to it and kind of bring something special. So I'm super excited about it already. And I'm not even Canadian. So looking forward to that. Well, Sean, there's an idea out there that has been floated, and I'm not sure if you're going to like it or not like it. Maybe you like it a lot. But Maria wants to have the Divas title come back as a third women's championship. So you're going to have your SmackDown women's champion, your Raw women's champion, and a Divas champion. How does that float your boat?
Well, Maria is right in that the reason why the Divas title existed in the first place was it's the first thing they thought of, probably when they said, okay, let's come up with a name for this second women's title. Let's just call it the Divas title. We always call it the WWE Divas. That's what they've been called for, since the Attitude Era. Like, no big deal, right? Nobody really thought about it until the word diva became this thing of, oh my God, I don't want to be called a diva anymore. I'm a woman wrestler. Like, I'm a superstar. And I get it from people's perspective of saying, well, they did so much to take away that title, and not the title, but like remove the name diva from the conversation and get themselves to be called superstars just like everybody else. And all that work and all the evolution and revolution and all that, part of that was to remove the Divas moniker from them, even though they use Total Divas still for the TV show, but that's just, it makes more sense than Total Women or Total Wrestlers or whatever. But still, I think what Maria means is more about having the Divas title be a third championship. Maybe at the end of the day, they do that, but it's not called the Divas title. We got to remember the era that Maria was in WWE at first. She was in there during that Ruthless Aggression era when the Divas title was actually something that you were fighting for and whatever. What the masses may not have been anything to shake a stick at or whatnot, but it meant something to those women to win that title. Whether they held it for a week or they held it for months or, so I can understand Maria's point in that she wants to see it come back because it means something to her, but what she meant was it was a championship for somebody to win, and they already have a lot of titles as it is. Do you really need a third singles women's title? And technically you already have a third singles women's title. It's in NXT. But, it's... Even Mark Henry now has talked about maybe it's time for a women's tag title. I'd rather see that much more than another third women's championship that means nothing and is not attached to a show. So you're just like, what do you do with it? And,
Yeah, exactly. And I think there's a problem in WWE in general of, wow, there's just so much when it comes to gold. And it's one of those situations you look at it.
Japan has that problem too.
Yeah, they really do. They really do. But that's also why sometimes their pay-per-views are kind of drawn out with just title. And I don't know that's always a good thing. I mean, New Japan does a great job. They're really, really happy for what I get most of the times in New Japan. But there are times I'm like, good God, this is another title. And that's what we're looking at WWE too. And we really, I just don't feel need a Divas Championship. Not only has this whole revolution taken effect, but like you said, Sean, it was meant to kind of take away an image, and I don't think that the Divas image is really what they want right now. Now, there may be some people like Maria who remember good old days of having it, but on that flip side, it's just something that not everyone's a big fan of, and right now, as you have the Me Too movement and things like that going on, you want to celebrate women not for appearances and things like that, and you don't want to bring that and put that name. I think really what you want to do is you want to celebrate the history, but not focus on that so much. And like you said, a tag title would be a lot better compared to bringing that thing back. And what are you going to do? I mean, are you going to have?
Well, I mean, they could bring it back on a different name as well, but it's still the whole point of like, why do you need 3 championships if you're going to try to say that you're going to make a women's intercontinental title, basically, and make it be on both shows? I think that's where you start, causing confusion for the people. Right now, it's all very simple. Each show has their own title for that division, and you fully understand it, and you know what that means. When you start doing the whole, the person that holds this title can go to both shows and all that stuff, it's like, you start muddying the waters and you start causing confusion and causing issues, and I don't think you want to do that.
Yeah, you don't. And I'll be honest, in my personal opinion, the brand split, it has worked to an extent. To an extent, it doesn't work for me because of these confusing issues, right? You're always going to have 2 world champions. You're always going to have 2 tag champs. You're always going to have a guy that's got a mid-card title, U.S. title, or the Intercontinental title. Those are the 2 titles I don't even think you could even need to bring up in that scenario, but still, you don't really need a 3rd women's title that floats back and forth to both shows. You just don't need it. It's just, to me, out of place. I think if we simplify things a little bit more, it'd be better. If, kind of like without this brand split, there would have to combine so many titles. It would have to be, back to breaking things down, back to the simple form of a world title holder for both men and women, and then, of course, going to those tag titles. So, I think it's just too much. Just in my opinion, too much. And I mean, I get it, but it's just, to me, one of those situations that you look at and you say, okay, let's do it if they have their own show. So, yes, I'm all for it. If you want to bring the Divas title back, then have your own show. But then you do run into the situation of NXT has their women's champion. So where does that person fit in? I don't know. So just too much. Kind of like if they brought the UK title to Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah,
we
there's
would
an
all
NXT UK Women's Champion or whatever, and there actually is one right now, but I don't want to say because that hasn't aired yet. But it's like, yeah, I mean, now we have a UK Women's Champion too. It's like, do you understand how many women's championships the company already has? Like, do you need to have another one? Yeah. That's why I'm saying, like, the tag titles at least are different. You don't have that anywhere, really. I mean. Yeah. In WWE.
Exactly. And there's some other place that you don't have to worry about it, Sean, and that's Saudi Arabia. That's WWE's going back there. That's right. November 2nd, a week after the Evolution show, they are going to be in Saudi Arabia. So don't worry about that. You won't have to see the Divas title there. You won't have to see, heck, any of the women's titles there. So, but, hey, do you think that them going back, I mean, they of course are making lots of money to go back to Saudi Arabia, but do you think it's kind of funny?
It's a 10-year deal.
Yeah, it's crazy, but they're going right back after this women's Evolution pay-per-view, which I think they were planning it for a long time, but if you remember back, the controversy was, wow, how dare they have a show with only men, which, hey, I don't blame them. I think it's kind of silly, but also you have to understand cultural differences. They have the right to have their cultural differences. It's kind of funny how this all landed.
Yeah, it's poor planning on WWE's part as far as, like, not thinking about the ramifications of having the all-women's show and then, we're going to go back to basically the week after we're having an all-men's show, so it almost makes it feel like that women's show was, like, who cares, because here's the all-men's show again. Like, but honestly, this is more about, this stuff is not planned. When you have to go to another country, that has to be planned to a certain extent, like months in advance, like Gary said. Like, I don't know if anybody thought about this at all. They just thought of it as a date and just said, okay, let's just go back in November. Maybe they want to make it to where, now this is not like the greatest Royal Rumble, I think, again. I think this is just them going for a live event, but I could be wrong. Maybe not. Maybe it is another big pay-per-view show or whatnot, but it's just like, I don't know if there was like this vindictive thought of, we let the women have their thing, but we got to get it right back on track into it's not like we have shows of men the other 364 days a year. I mean, it's like, I don't know. I don't know that it's just like this egregious error that we need to make right or something, but I know there will be people out there that think it should be, and I get you, but I feel like this was planned because this is when they planned to go there and not for any malicious thing.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. It's not malicious. I just kind of think it's funny the way it fell into place, and it's kind of like, hey, we just gave you, your own pay-per-view, so if you don't get to go on this trip, don't worry, you made your payday. You don't need the payday we're doing in Saudi Arabia. I don't really view it as malicious. I think it's kind of fair in a way because none of the men are making a payday off the Evolution pay-per-view. So in a way, I'm kind of glad. I kind of feel like that, if nothing else, this even things out, at least at this time. Of course, the Greatest Royal Rumble wasn't really an evened out situation, but I think in the end, they may be making a good decision if they're going to kind of, hey, let's back these up together. Let's, if we're going to send the guys over there to Saudi Arabia, let's let the girls have their own pay-per-view here in the States and let them just have they're a blast while the other guys go do their thing. And, it's not WWE's fault at all. It's really Saudi Arabia who chose that. WWE would rather have the women go. They would, trust me. That's their goal, is to get closer and closer to 50-50 in their brand in general, not just on Raw or SmackDown.
The new emperor, I don't know, person in charge there in Saudi Arabia did make strides of, had women show up at the stadium for the World Cup, and look, these are things that should not be an issue, but they are in this country, so you have to explain it in this way of, he's letting the women drive now, and all that stuff. So there are strides being made in that country. It's just, who knows, maybe when they return in 2020 or maybe even 2019, by then the women can appear on the show.
Yeah. Oh, exactly. And that'll be a really positive day when that happens. And I really hope that change does happen. We kind of talked about this at the Greatest Royal Rumble, and I think that, we'll get there. It's just going to take some time, and people have to be patient. Once again, not every country on this planet Earth is going to be the same culturally, and you have to respect their culture just like they have to respect your culture if they come to your country. So,
this is kind of one of those that goes beyond culture, though, when you start restricting what a whole gender can do.
Oh, I get it, and I understand it, but you can't force anyone to do anything they don't want to. It's just the bottom line. It's not right morally, but that's just the way it works. So. Let's talk about morals real quick here. I'm going to skip one story because we're on the moral thing, so I want to jump to this, and I'll jump back to this other piece of news we have. Let's talk about Izzy. If anyone doesn't know who Izzy is, well, she's the little young lady that was the biggest Bayley fan ever, if you watched NXT back in the day. And now she is the ripe old age of 12 years old, and she has already had her first wrestling match. And this, of course, took place in Orlando for, I believe it's called Punk Wrestling, and it's a promotion down there. And she had a match and defeated a wrestler, and this guy is named Effie. So this is a situation where we have Effie, who was a holder of a championship down there, lose it to Izzy. And we have seen this in the past. This is nothing new, right? That we've seen men, women wrestle very young, and even in Japan especially, and have matches. But this is just a little odd, especially in the States. Once again, we go by kind of morals or laws, where we have someone at this age wrestling a grown man. And of course he loses, which is fine and dandy, but just very strange. And you also ask the question, should they be doing this? And of course, I'm sure her parents had to file, of course, or sign all sorts of paperwork that they could file. But man, I just don't know. I don't know. What do you think about this, Sean? It's cool for her personally. Not sure if I really am in the favor as a parent into this.
Well, obviously, like you said, her parents had to sign off on this, right? Her parents had to sign off on her learning how to, training and learning how to do this. And, this, if all it takes is to watch a little bit of Tough Enough, and you can definitely see it. This is not a cakewalk to do as a person that's been through that. It takes months and months and months to be ready to be out there. Now, I don't know how long she's been training or anything like that, but it's like, she didn't just decide to do this on her own, and then they put her in this match, and she won a championship or whatever. The people that know, that are supposed to know, and have signed off on this. Now, like you said, the morals of she's 12, and she's, child labor laws and all that, but it's like, you got to think about it as, okay, if she's not getting paid and she's technically acting, right? You can have child actors, right? Or she's in a sporting event, Like, it depends on, what the classification for this is. If it's entertainment and she's acting, then why is this any different than when, if you have a child actor on a TV show or a movie or, whatever. I get it from the wrestler's perspective of this is a little weird and this is a contact sport as well. So, you're having that happen. Like, you're choke slamming a 12-year-old girl. You're showing a grown man choking a kid, which is already an issue of abuse or whatever if you did this in a non-wrestling setting, right? So I get Lince Dorado being upset about it, right? And that he doesn't want to support it and all that. And there are people that agree with him in that format. But I also think there's wrestlers that are jealous that a 12-year-old's getting a spot that they could be getting. And, let's be fair. There's a WWE name. There's a WWE connection there. There's a name that people know Izzy. So perhaps she got a break because of that. And whatever. Who knows how long she's going to do this, if she does this for another year and then stops and doesn't feel like wrestling anymore. Or, she does it for another 6 months and stops. Or she does it for the rest of her life. We don't know. But hey, she got to have a match at 12. Okay. I don't think it's that big a deal because she's choosing to do this. It's not like somebody told her, okay, get in the ring and get slammed.
Yeah, that's fair. It really is fair. I just look at it and think to myself...
To me, it's the same people that got upset when, the Young Bucks did the thing where they kicked the kid.
Oh, yeah, I understand that. I mean, and you also, you can have people who were really highly offended when Kenny Omega wrestled the young lady in Japan. And it was a huge deal. And, I'm not really morally opposed to it myself, but it is a little uncomfortable when you think about kids and their parents putting them in certain situations, because kids are excited about anything, right? I mean, as long as they feel like they're protected and their parents are doing something in their best interest, they'll jump over the moon. I mean, you could tell your kid, hey, don't worry, it's okay. I trust me, running through that sawmill with a blindfold on is not going to hurt you. They may just do it because they trust you. And the same in this situation, oh, don't worry, you'll be okay. Here, we're going to make a few, $100 here. Why don't you go ahead and do it? It'll be fun. Get your experience on. You don't know how she could get injured. You don't know how safe the person you're putting her in the ring is with. So, she may come out with some major injury, get concussions, things that are going to affect her down the line, and she's 12 years old. So I think that's the problem I would have with this. Looking at it morally, it concerns me. Once again, I'm a parent, so I can definitely relate to this. It would be very hard for me to put my daughter in a situation where she could be possibly in danger. I've got 2 boys now. Let's just take this in perspective. I've got 2 boys now. One day they're going to be old enough to play football. They're going to be able to play soccer, or of course in any other country, football again. But do they play American football, where there's a high possibility of concussions, broken bones, many different types of injuries can happen, spinal injuries? Put them in a safer sport that you could still have concussions, but maybe not as often as in soccer or basketball. Other sports that may be just a little bit less dangerous. And I think that that day will approach, and I'll have these same questions I'm talking about these parents having. So I see both sides of the fence here. I don't know that I'm really hating what happened here. But I see it. I understand why people are opposed. I definitely understand, and I'm really I don't really know either way, Sean. I can't say that I think either person's wrong on either side of the aisle here.
That's fair. That's fair.
So very
Stop
selective.
sitting on the fence, Gary. No.
I know. It hurts a lot, Sean. Trust me. These polls suck. But anyway, well, let's talk about this piece of news because talking about hurting, Matt Hardy has been hurting for a long time. And we know this because, well, if you've seen recently on Raw or anything he's doing, you can definitely tell he's not in the best shape at the moment. And he's pretty much resigned himself to being a producer. He has pretty much taken himself out of action. And his brother Jeff is not far from him because Jeff is kind of limiting the Swanton bomb, saying that hurts his back a lot, which, duh. But, I mean, he's done it about 1,000 times, so his back really hurts. So these two guys that we've really enjoyed loving to watch many Mondays and Tuesdays or whatever heck they're on TV, they possibly are right at the end of their career. We're starting to see them kind of make their way past the world of in-ring action. I mean, we kind of saw this coming. I think a lot of people thought Jeff would be the guy that would be hanging him up first, but it appears Matt is. What do you think about this? To me, it's understandable. I respect them. I appreciate everything they've done. And again, it's kind of sad because this is really one of those things where I'm like, man, that they could have done so much more with the Delete and the Broken Universe.
Right.
And now we're saying, oh, forget about that. They're done. But you got to give it to them, man. They've destroyed their bodies for us.
Yeah, I mean, remember Matt's the older brother.
Yes.
So, he also. This is why I haven't watched a Fandango match in a while. But I don't. Does he still do the leg drop thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
Stop doing it.
I don't think he does it as much as you do. I think I saw him once do it, and I think it was
just
like...
it's probably why he stopped doing it, because I'm sure Matt Hardy has told him, don't do it, especially from the top rope, because look at what happened to me. Now I'm going to have some kind of bone fusion or some kind of spinal fusion thing, because he messed up his back so much that he puts himself in danger now if he keeps wrestling much longer. Because of doing the leg drop from the top rope all those years like he did. So, Jeff is starting to realize that, the Swanton could affect him later on in life as well. So he's starting to limit it to like the big matches and all that. But it's like, I'm glad that Matt Hardy realized this and got tests and saw this early enough to where he could still walk around and do all the things that he wants to do. Now, obviously, he can't really wrestle that much, or maybe not again. But it's better that he has his health, right, than like walking around in a wheelchair, or being in a wheelchair or walking around on crutches because he noticed this too late.
Yeah.
So, and now he can be with Maxwell and Rebby. And speaking of Max, I saw people when we talk about the Izzy story, he was blaming Matt Hardy for having Maxwell be out there on Impact and all that, making it okay for, if a kid that young can be on TV, well then Izzy could be on TV too. But yeah,
I mean, two wrongs doesn't make a right, though. I mean, if you feel like, Maxwell being on TV was wrong, then you really, I don't know. I can see you blaming that, but that's just that was kind of hokey, kind of corny, too.
Maxwell,
you got to be honest.
was just, like, absolute comic relief. Like, it was just,
yeah.
It was there to be a joke. It was there to further the joke, to just make it even more preposterous than what he was. Like, you just couldn't help but laugh every time he mentioned something on Maxwell. Like, Maxwell wins a match, and it's like, oh my god, a freaking baby just won. Like, no, he didn't. Just, you're sitting there going, like, no way they freaking had a baby win a match. Like, oh no, yes he did. Like, it's just like, it's just so stupid. You have to laugh, or you just think it's stupid. You don't watch anymore. But still, I don't think it's the same thing as Izzy at all.
No, and the bottom line is when she did it, or he did it, he was just being put on top of the person that, lost. And she's actually out there sacrificing her body, because she's got to actually do moves and actually take moves where he didn't. So.
Right.
It's just trying to pass the coin to somebody else. That's just all they're doing. But yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, to each his own. Once again, I'm in the middle. I'm not gonna fight and stand on the table to argue this because really, I don't have a personal preference. So, but let's move on here and let's go ahead and Sean, and we've got to talk All In. All In is coming up this Saturday. Really, really excited. I mean, if you're actually going, you've got to be super stoked.
I think Glenn is going.
Oh, that's so jealous of Glenn.
So.
Oh, I hope he takes plenty of pictures. And, of course, I hope Glenn also gives us some of the exclusives and lets us know what all takes place because StarCast and everything that they're going to do is going to be amazing. The show itself is going to be a blast. I really am so jealous. And I can't wait to watch it. I just really, really can't, Sean. So be looking forward to a great time. We're about to give you a whole preview and kind of give you our thoughts on what's going to happen on that show. So we want you to make sure you're prepared for that. But yeah, I mean, Sean, before we jump into this preview, I just got to ask you, we heard about this. We've known that for a while that this is something that was going to be really impossible for the Young Bucks and Cody to do. Sell out a 10,000 seat arena. They do it in 29 minutes, my God, 29 minutes. And just really prove Dave Meltzer wrong, prove a lot of people wrong. It's really exciting and just really kind of cool to see these guys come together and put on a show that I think really kind of exudes just, let's be honest, just the pure wrestling fan and what they want. This is just so much fun.
Yeah, it's a huge event. This feels like a thing that you really need to watch. It's being even CBS and GameSpot and like big outlets are freaking covering this thing. Like it's become sort of mainstream wrestling for a day or whatever. And I think they accomplished their goal of making something that's not WWE, that's not New Japan, there is New Japan wrestlers on it. Like doesn't have those two names, and people went to see this show. So that's a huge deal in that aspect. And yeah, it is great that they got to accomplish that. And there's rumors of them already doing an All In too. And why not when you made so much for this one? But still, if this one goes off well, then we'll see what happens. But I think this is definitely cool. And then you get the pre-show on WGN America. That's a big deal too, right?
Oh yeah.
So, gotta give them credit for that.
I never would have thought in a million years that they would have been bringing that to broadcast TV, and they are. That's super, super cool to see, and you got to give them credit for working really, really hard to make that happen. And also, we're about to talk about a lot of these, superstars that are a part of this. They have really went out of their way to make sure that they took care of a lot of their friends, a lot of the just really amazing talent out there to offer on the indie circuit and, of course, in some of these other smaller promotions, a great platform. So I'm really stoked about that. You got to give it to the Young Bucks and Cody, too. I'm sorry. I know I keep saying Young Bucks, but Cody is a big part of this, too, on how they just got this thing all taken care of, organized. This is just something that I don't think that most people could say a wrestler could do. They'd say, oh, you have to be a promoter to figure this out. You can't do all this and not have a promoter. No, these guys did it on their own.
Yeah, certainly. Cody and the Young Bucks did a great job putting this through, doing everything. They got this card together, some terrific matches, some dream matches on here, or at least one dream match. And it's just like, who would have thought? Yes, again, they're getting help from the promotions that they are sort of partnered with, New Japan, ROH, NWA, other indies around. It's just Stephen Amell is showing up. I don't know that you could. That takes knowing people and getting help and doing what Cody did, right? Of going around all these indies and all this stuff when it first started, of Cody getting away from WWE. And I think this is sort of the culmination of all that, what he really wanted to accomplish for this. So
Yeah. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, you're right, Sean. I mean, this is something that they really dreamed about, and they made it happen. So, I'm excited to talk about it, and I think we should just go ahead and jump into this thing and really start going through this card and just kind of see what exciting things are going to be happening for this whole big show. And let's go ahead and talk about go ahead and get some of these bigger matches out of the way. I think because these are some of the matches that people. I just have a lot of interest in. Let's talk about the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi. He is going to be, of course, this is I believe, what are they calling themselves? The Golden Elite, right? Isn't that the name that they're going by?
The Golden Elite.
The Golden Elite. They're going to take on Rey Mysterio, which is a huge name, which is super exciting. Phoenix, and of course, it's just a really awesome luchador, Bandito. This is going to be just a blast to watch, man. I can't wait.
Oh yeah, this is gonna be so much fun. This is just the Young Bucks getting to do Young Bucks things. Kota Ibushi getting to go against Rey Mysterio and going kick for kick and doing crazy stuff. And Phoenix, two mask guys that both wear similar masks, getting to go around doing hurricane runs and drop kicks and crazy stuff. And Bandito as well, getting to see him on the stage. It's awesome. It's a terrific main event. Way to just totally get the crowd going and roaring and send them off happy, or however this is going to wind up going down. But, yeah, it's just fantastic.
Definitely. I'm just, at the end of the day, who do you got winning this match? I mean, a lot of people say, the Golden Elite has to win. But do you think the Young Bucks are going to want to win, especially being the fact that, they're kind of the promoters of this event?
Well, with Cody losing, I think, probably in his match, I think the Young Bucks and Kota Ibushi winning wouldn't be, the worst thing, even though I could see, like, Mysterio pinning Kota Ibushi or something.
Okay. That could be fair enough. I'm just kind of curious because, I think that they may want to put over the other guys just to kind of really promote them, especially Bandito, a guy that they really have, they really didn't know anything about until they kind of started watching YouTube videos of him and got really excited. So I could see them wanting to put him over. And of course, Rey Mysterio is one of the guys that's just a legend. So, and Phoenix is one of those rising stars. So I don't know. I think I'm going to go with that team. I think the Golden Elite's awesome, but I could definitely see them wanting to put over these other guys. Kenny Omega is going to take on Pentagon. I mean, these are two guys that have just really just raged through the wrestling world. People are in love with them. What do you think is going to happen to this one? Who do you got?
Oh, God. This is a dream match. I think people really... This is the one that got them jumping out of their seat to find out who Kenny Omega was wrestling, and to know he's wrestling Pentagon is fantastic. I really want to watch this match. This is the one I'm really excited about, along with a few others. But this is the one that's I'm anticipating a lot, and I feel like Omega's gonna win, but man, it's gonna be close. How Kenny does his matches. There's gonna be moments where you go, "Oh my God, Omega's gonna lose," and he winds up winning. He's the New Japan World Champion. He's not freaking losing.
Yeah, it's one of those situations where you're gonna have Pentagon Jr. really just put on a great performance. It's gonna be a different match than you're used to seeing with Kenny Omega. But I think at the end of the day, you're right. I just can't see Kenny Omega losing. To me, it would be a slap in the face in a way to New Japan because, you know what I mean? He's a champ.
Mm-hmm. No, and you've got, technically, the Young Bucks and Cody are not contracted by New Japan, but they have a deal with New Japan, and it's you don't want to upset anyone. Plus, they're not going to let them be booked on the show if there's not a deal in place there.
Exactly. And that kind of brings you to the next match and asks you that same question, because you have the NWA Championship on the line when you got Nick Aldis taking on Cody. I mean, do you really think that Cody's going to walk away the NWA champion? I don't know. I mean, I think it's more plausible because it's not a huge company like New Japan.
Yeah, I mean, and imagine Cody Rhodes going around everywhere with the NWA Championship. People would start wanting to know what that is, and they want to learn the history and learn about the current promotion. And I mean, it could do a lot of marketing wonders for them if Cody were to win and say, like, wear it at a New Japan event or an ROH show, and, like, that would help them a lot. So, but I think Nick Aldis is going to win here and retain the title, as you would expect.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, you know, I think Cody, you know, winning the NWA title would be very emotional for him. I think for a lot of people, and it'd be really exciting. Nick Aldis, I think, you know, he's done a great job for what what it's worth, just because he's a decent name. But I just keep going back to what you said. My mind is right there with yours. Cody holding that title.
Plus, it's the title his dad had.
Yeah, exactly. His dad had it. It'd be emotional for him, but not only that, just him walking around with it, just in plain sight, people seeing the NWA title, it's going to mean a lot to that company. So I definitely see that happening. I think Cody's going to win. Now, the Ring of Honor title is going to be on the line as well here, which is really cool. Jay Lethal, of course, is the champ. He'll be taking on whoever wins that over the budget Battle Royal. I can never get that right. Over the budget Battle Royal, which is going to be really, really fun to watch. I can't wait, Sean, to be honest with you, to see, you know, who all is going to actually kind of come out of that thing. There's going to be a lot of big names in the indies that are going to be on there, and of course some names you really know. So I'm really excited about that, and I know a lot of other people are too. So be looking forward to that, and you know, once again, we're not going to go through the whole long list of people that are going to be a part of that, but there's going to be. From what I've heard, go ahead.
Well, I know you're Billy Gunn is in it, so I know you're going to be.
Yes, definitely. Super excited about him, alongside with a former NWO guy that, you know, a lot of you out there might know. Starts with a V. Do you know who I'm talking about, Sean?
Virgil.
Oh, that is going to be so much fun to see Virgil back and doing something in the ring.
I'm just going to say I hope Punisher Martinez wins.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I honestly wouldn't mind.
Well, he's the current. Yeah, never mind. So...
Yeah. So we'll leave it that be. Well, Kazuchika Okada. See, I said it right there. Kazuchika Okada. Now I can't say his second name. Is going to take on Marty Scurll. Really looking forward to this match.
This match is going to be freaking great.
Oh, I can't wait. Okada's winning, no doubt.
Yeah, you know,
but
it's a junior against a heavyweight. They're not breaking that. But Marty Scurll gets to have fun with his gimmick against Okada. I mean, that's pretty awesome in and of itself. You know, they can have some fantastic back and forth there. So I'm all down with that.
Oh yeah, for sure. And just the antics that are going to take place. Oh, it's going to be so much fun. We're going to have the Chicago Street Fight. That'll be between Joey Janela taking on Hangman Page. And, you know, boy, I mean, this is right up Janela's line of work. And he is going to probably do some major damage. But, I don't know. To me, maybe that's why. Maybe I should choose Janela here. Yeah, I love Hangman Page, but maybe I'm going to go with the guy that's, you know, at home in a street fight.
Yeah, I mean, you had to use some of the, Bullet Club dudes in this as well, and I think this is prime for Joey Janela to win in his element. I mean, he also, you know, has his own shows and all that, especially one around WrestleMania weekend, so I feel like this is kind of an ode to that. He's also one of the few remaining, like, super indie guys that's around, so Joey Janela for the win here.
And this next match may be written on the wall already. Stephen Amell is taking on Christopher Daniels. And, I mean, you know this one is going to be Arrow wins all the way.
Yeah, I could see Christopher Daniels winning as well, but yeah, this could go a couple of ways. I mean, it would be really interesting just to see what happens. I wonder if Kazarian would make a visit at all.
I would just wonder if the Flash is going to be there at any point.
Yeah,
maybe, you know,
maybe Batwoman will show up and get everybody angry.
Oh boy, who knows what's going to happen in this one? But this is just one of those fun matches that they're probably going to have a male win some way, somehow, just to make sure that he gets to look good. And Christopher Daniels, he doesn't care. He's been there, done everything. He's there to do the job. So we also have some women's action here. Madison Rayne is going to be taking on Chelsea Green, who we all I'm trying to think of her impact name. What was her impact name again? I already forgot it.
So, I know you're talking about.
I know. I can't believe it. I'm just thinking of trying to remember that.
The wedding dress.
Yes. God,
yeah.
I can't remember. Anyway, she's going to take on Britt Baker, and of course we also have none other. Who else are going to be a part of this match? I'm already
Tessa Blanchard.
Tessa Blanchard, thank you.
Current Impact Women's Champion or Knockouts Champion, whatever.
Yes, exactly. So Tessa Blanchard, which I think a lot of people are going to have as one of the favorites winning this match. So this is going to be a fatal 4-way, and it could go any way, but I'm going to go ahead and say Blanchard because I think a lot of people are really thinking that way.
I think Blanchard as well. She's the one that has the most cachet right now. She's the one that's kind of doing something, an impact. I think it's like the one where you can give Impact something for having letting some of their wrestlers appear. So, yeah. Madison Rayne's a veteran. She doesn't need this. Chelsea Green is on the indies, doing her thing. And Britt Baker's also kind of doing her thing on the indies, too. So, Tessa Blanchard's got a big name right now, and I'm going to give it to her here.
Yes, it's going to be, just a fun match, just in general, because all four are super talented. Let's just be honest. All four are really talented, and they're going to do a great job. But, I think Blanchard, it's just going to be one of those where she's going to find a way to get the victory. So, let's talk about the Briscoes. They're taking on SoCal Uncensored. This is a match where I just feel like it's got to be the Briscoes.
On the pre-show.
Oh, okay. So this is
on
the
the pre-show
WGN.
along with the Battle Royal.
Okay, so the WGN America is going to hold this match. Okay,
yeah,
which
the
makes
0
sense.
hour thing.
Okay, sweet. So this will be a fun one to get people excited about watching the pay-per-view for sure. I got the Briscoes in this one.
I got the Briscoes too.
Okay, fair enough. Not too hard. Now, in the over-the-budget Battle Royal, Sean, we do have plenty of names here that'll be a part of it. Some you'll know, some you won't. Moose, of course, from Impact, you'll know. Jordan Grace, somebody if you're a big fan, you might know. Cole Cabana is a huge name, of course. Chicago's own is going to be there. Ethan Page, another fun name. We got Rocky Romero, who a lot of people in New Japan love. Brian Cage, Monster. We also have, like you said, Billy Gunn. We're just really, really excited about him. We also have Jimmy Jacobs, which a lot of people would be excited about. Also have, who else? Marco Stunt. And, of course, Brandon Cutler, and then let's see here. We also have Punishment Martinez, who, Sean, you've already said could be the victor here. So that's going to be really exciting to see. But there's also a few other names that are being mentioned. Chucky T has also been a guy that'll be a part of it. Trent Beretta will be there. We also have Matt Cross, who's a big name. So it's really exciting to see who we have. We also have MJR. Or MJF, excuse me. Yeah. MJF. What is that? I don't even know who MJF is.
Oh, I forgot what his name means, but I'm a friend of his on Facebook.
Oh, that's cool. So that's awesome. So lots of names here. A lot of them we know. Some you may not. Of course, once again, this is going to be also a mixed gender match too. So, male or female will be a part of this match. It'd be really exciting to see some of the surprises they're not telling us.
Could Neville show up in this match too?
I think that's what I'm hoping, man. Could you imagine, Sean, Neville wins this match and then takes on Jay Lethal?
Oh, man, that would be amazing. I want to see it. I want to see Jay Lethal versus Neville. Let's do that. Puts it over the top right there. Plus, this show's only going to be 4 to 5 hours, so get ready for that too.
Yeah. So, if you're going to watch it live, you're going to be having the time of your life. If you're watching on demand, try not to get spoiled.
Hey, plus you can watch it on New Japan World on demand.
Yes. So if you're planning on watching it for some reason on New Japan World, which I'm probably going to end up doing, let's be honest, I don't get a chance to watch many live events live. So I will probably be watching it on demand, probably on New Japan World as well. But it's still going to be just as good and fun. I'm really looking forward to it. I'll probably DVR the 0 hour. That way I can make sure I don't miss those matches as well, just so I can watch them earlier if I want to watch them first. And then go check out New Japan World. So make sure you do go check it out, though. This is going to be a blast to see. If you're getting to go like Glenn, oh, so jealous of you right now. Just know that. So, but have a great weekend. I mean, if you're going, you're going to really get a chance to delve into the world of wrestling. And if you're not, just enjoy it. Just enjoy Saturday night. So. But yeah, that pretty much wraps up this whole thing, Sean. I mean, we've had a lot of great news and getting to talk about All In. This has all been fun, man. I really am happy we got a chance to do this, and we will see. We're not promising anything, Sean, but we are going to see how fast we will get a chance to watch this whole pay-per-view. And if we get a chance to have it done by Monday and Sean and I are able to get together, we want to do it. We want to go ahead and do a review show for you guys. So be looking for that. We're going to be trying to record more shows on Mondays if possible. So please be looking forward to that. And anything else you want to say about that, Sean? I mean, I know we've kind of discussed
it's
things.
Because both of us are off on Mondays. So it makes it easier. Plus, football season... I'll have to start doing the after the Thursday night football, which makes it we wouldn't even start record. I know we technically started recording around the same time we would have on a Thursday, but this different. So yeah, it's so that we can record early, like Monday during the day. We're not like freaking exhausted.
Yeah.
Gary's still got the young twins, so they're still keeping him up at night. And so it's easier if it's during the day, and we're both off, and that way we can kind of just enjoy things and not necessarily be like, oh god, I've got to work the next day. Oh, let's hurry up and get this done. But yeah, I like the idea of like Mondays during the day, and football. The other football shows on Sunday nights too now, so I don't have to like be like, oh crap, I need to watch 20 football games instead. So.
Yeah,
it makes it easier, and it's good for you guys. We're there, and hey, after a pay-per-view or something, if we watched it, we can kind of have a reaction sort of close to when it ended too, and not like the next day. I mean,
yeah,
it'll suck for previews because sometimes they wait till the last freaking show to announce like 3 matches, and those previews would be a little outdated, but. If that's the worst, it's not that bad.
Yeah, you're right. And, we'll get this down and see what exactly we get done. But what's going to be fun is just getting a chance to get together and talk wrestling. And I'm really looking forward to this. And so we want everybody else out to know, just be watching the stream. And the best way to do that is, of course, to go sign up and, of course, submit yourself to getting a chance to checking out the W2M Network. Make sure you go subscribe at the W2M Network. And, of course, if you just want to come find W2M, you can just subscribe to Wrestling to the Max. But I suggest you go ahead and subscribe to the whole W2M network. That way you get a chance to not only catch our show, but catch the other wrestling shows that are a part of our network. So when we're not able to be on right away, you get another great show, some more great content that you'll really, really love and enjoy. And, of course, some other shows that maybe you didn't know about will pop up, and you'll get a chance to hear some other great things. And, of course, like Sean said, football season's here. You don't want to miss Football to the Max. They're going to have everything you can think of when it comes to talking NFL and giving you all the big news and, of course, going to those games and just kind of breaking down some of the big things going on. I think it's going to be wonderful this year. And so make sure you go subscribe. You'll never miss an episode of our show. Once you do that, it'll always be in your dock. Just be looking out for W2M. And, of course, once again, also go check our friends over at 411mania.com and last word on ProWrestling.com. They do a great job over there, too. Want to throw them a shout out as well. Besides that, Sean, we are out of here. And, once again, thanks everybody for joining us tonight. We've been having a blast and can't wait to do it again. Until next time, if you're not living life to the max,
not living life at all. You know it.